I have to cuss, so Daren doesn't have to. You've been advised. Hey y'all, I'm Jenn. I'm from Oakland, and I'm an androgynous, black, lesbian feminist, and a lover of all black people.
This is Daren. I'm an asexual novelist, researcher, and bona fide comic book fanatic from the widest part of Southern California.
Orange County. We're queer millennials with 3 kids and nearly 20 years of marriage.
This is a podcast about the realities of blackness, adulting, and relationships.
This is That Black Couple. Hello.
Hello.
I hate when you pause like that.
I know you're like, did he hear me?
I am exhausted.
Yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to say that. This is. I feel like February and March went by really fast.
Yes.
But even though they went by fast, they were like the longest months of my life.
Yeah.
Like March was the longest year I've ever experienced.
It was so fast, but it was so many things.
So many things, and I am exhausted.
I can't believe we're out of March.
I can't believe we're out of March either. And now we're going to have a rundown episode. So let's talk about all the things that we missed in March.
Yeah, because it went by too fast,
but also it took forever. This is episode 4 of season 6 of That Black Couple. I am exhausted, and I am drinking water. However, I've been drinking kombuchas, and they're so good for you. And apparently they help with hot flashes. They're supposed to. So grab
That's what they say.
Yeah, grab your kombucha. Get some kombucha. It's going to make you poop.
Yeah, be careful. Maybe drink half the bottle, not the whole bottle.
Drink the whole, take it to the head.
You know, like half
Go
today,
to the
half
toilet.
tomorrow.
Go to the toilet. Go poop. Have a seat. This is That Black Couple. I'm Jenn.
I'm Daren.
And before we get started, make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at That BLK Couple, on Facebook at That Black Couple, and look us up on the internets at www.thatblackcouple.com.
You can find us everywhere. If you're looking for us, you'll find us. We're on Google Podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify, Audible, Stitcher, SoundCloud, all of them. That's where you find us.
And don't forget Pandora.
Yeah, don't forget Pandora.
Child.
Because we're everywhere. And so I know you got friends, and I know those friends probably listen to podcasts. And you know when people go, oh, I'm looking for a new podcast to listen to. You know any good podcasts? You know to say ours. And then when you say ours, you say you can find them on whatever platform you listen to your podcast on.
And then send them a link to your favorite episode. Mm-hmm. Promote our shit.
Share the joy.
Yeah. Promote us. I hate when I be online and niggas be like, oh my God, y'all listen to any podcast? And I look down and everybody says, The Read. And I'm like, why y'all don't listen to, that's all we doing? Okay. Go ahead, Daren. I'm in a mood today.
I know, you in a little stanky, funky mood. Slightly. I get it.
Slightly.
And, you know, I'm a forewarn y'all that might, you know, color the conversation that happens today.
And I'm not high.
And there's minimal weed happening at the moment.
Minimal. So, I'm nearly sober.
So be careful.
So
everybody.
Watch out.
Right. Let's go. Let's just jump right in. It's a rundown. I love doing these rundown episodes. Like you said, we get to catch up on the stuff that happened and we didn't talk about. Mm-hmm. Just share our thoughts on those things.
Okay.
And the one I'm gonna start with right out the gate is Diddy.
Oh my God, this man.
Diddy,
No, we don't sing no more Diddy songs ever.
We don't sing no more Diddy songs.
This man is awful.
Now listen, allegedly.
No.
Allegedly.
No.
He's allegedly awful.
No.
I mean, we know him to be awful already from, you know.
If you watch Making the Band
and the band.
If you know anything about them niggas having to walk across the damn Brooklyn Bridge to get his ass a single slice of cake, pie, cheesecake,
Junior
from Junior's,
cheesecake,
then you know this nigga's awful.
Terrible. And he had that whole case with Cassie.
Yeah.
That was settled, but it basically.
And I haven't read. Apparently, there's a 30-page document that details everything, and people are like, "Don't read it," and I'm not going to because I know it will be triggering.
It's bad. I mean, I haven't read it, and that's on purpose because I don't want that information inside of my brain.
Nor do I.
But the recent development with Diddy was that they raided his house. Homeland Security raided Diddy's houses, both in LA and in Miami, on March 25th. And this is all in connection with another case he has currently going on about a federal sex trafficking investigation.
Good Lord.
So yeah, it's just I just feel like, these allegations are coming out the woodwork, and I never like to just immediately cancel someone to say if someone accuses them of something, then they must be guilty, or must there must be something wrong with them. Here.
We can cancel them.
However, I must say there is something to be said when it's like allegation.
So what are the allegations, Daren? Tell us what the allegations are.
Well, so the case that's happening right now is it's related to music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones. He accused Diddy of sexually assaulting him and forcing him to sleep with sex workers. And so that's the case. Now, we don't know all the details because obviously this case is in process. So we don't know what has been collected, what has been found, what caused the head to search his homes. But what you can say is that they need probable cause to be able to search your house. Yeah. So the fact that they even were able to carry out these raids on 2 homes, is never a good sign.
No, it's not.
It's never a good sign.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's a lot of allegations, right? There was another lawsuit that was filed in December that alleged that Diddy had
trigger warning.
Yeah, trigger warning for really terrible sexual assault terminology. It's alleged that Diddy gang raped a 17-year-old girl in 2003. And then remember, and that's the other thing, when these allegations come up in the present day, it starts to remind people of stuff that's happened in the past, right? Because I always say back in like the 90s, like it was a real wild time, and people got away with a lot of shit. People getting shot all the time,
getting stabbed and stuff
that they really shouldn't have.
Yep.
And so what has also now resurfaced was that shooting that happened way back when Diddy was dating J-Lo. Y'all remember that? The victim of that, a woman named Tanya Rubin, she was shot in the face back in 1999.
Jesus.
In a New York club. And she has come out in the wake of all of this and said, I know it was him. It was Diddy who shot me.
Wow.
And I'm willing for y'all to get a doctor to come into my face and take out
the bullet,
to take out the pieces of the bullet that are still in there to help prove that he's the one that did it.
Good Lord, child.
And so it's all out war on Diddy. But I feel like this is a chickens coming home to roost
Absolutely.
moment. Like, he has been terrible. He's been a known terrible person. And
people have said
decades.
People have said it. There's been rumors and there's been gossip, but we didn't have anything finite. And I feel like now we've got details.
And I feel like with people like that, it's just a matter of time.
Absolutely.
It's just a matter of time before something comes to light that brings the whole house of cards down.
Yeah. Bye, Diddy.
Bye.
We don't need no more shiny suits and fake crip walks. Okay, so there's another big music producer who had his ass handed to him recently, and I enjoyed seeing the images of this and hearing the full story. So Russell Simmons, if you all remember, his name was brought up during the wrong movement. Russell Simmons' name was brought up during the Me Too movement a few years ago in connection with a lot of Hollywood elites who said that he was at a lot of the parties, that he was involved in a lot of the awful sexual behaviors and the ways that young women were being treated. He was named. And we didn't hear much else about it because he ran away. So I didn't realize that he dropped off the face of the earth until recently when I saw an image of him and Usher. Actually, Usher went to visit him and people were like, why are you visiting him? He is in hiding from the U.S. government because he doesn't want to be held accountable for sexual assault that he's accused of. But luckily, he was found
found.
He was found. So he was recently served in Bali. He was at a resort that he actually owns. And he was served with papers related to a defamation lawsuit filed by writer, producer, and activist Drew Dixon in New York State Supreme Court that alleged that Simmons enacted a concerted and malicious campaign to discredit her. She had previous allegations of sexual assault and rape at the hands of Simmons that were made public back in 2017. Now, Russell Simmons, even when Kimora Lee divorced him, she was hush hush about it, but she indicated that he was not a good person, that he was not somebody that really held up to the standards of what he was putting out in public. And the more we learn about Russell Simmons, kind of like P. Diddy, right? The more we hear about this, the more it seems like, oh, okay, I see what all that was about, right? So this is also like, if anyone has been paying attention to the allegations against Trump that have gone on for so long that he is constantly in trouble for because he keeps defaming people. This echoes the E. Jean Carroll case where she also had allegations of sexual assault against him. And rather than behave like an adult person and to be accountable and responsible, he decided to take to the media and trash her in front of the mass public.
And it's really interesting to me how that E. Jean Carroll case went, right? Because, you know, he wasn't prosecuted for assault.
Right.
It wasn't like a criminal charge, like you assaulted a woman and putting you in jail. But it was like able to prove that, yes, this did happen.
It happened.
And you can't go out and publicly defame me and say that I'm a liar and that it's not true.
Right. Sit down and eat your salad and shut the fuck up.
And that's the same exact thing that Russell Simmons did. He did this. She came out and said, this is what happened to me. We can't prosecute, whatever. And then he wanted to come out and say, oh, this is lies. This is not true. And it's like, well, no.
Powerful, disgusting,
this is how we get you.
Disgusting men who are sexual predators who have gotten away with it for far too long. And when those chickens come home to roost, they're not ready. They're not ready. And that's okay. Because you know what? We're ready. We are so ready. We are so ready. And as an abolitionist, y'all know that, you know, the carceral state for me is not an answer or a viable solution. I don't believe that it performs any of its rehabilitation promises, but I love accountability. Right? Accountability is a beautiful thing. Restorative justice is a beautiful thing. It is so important, especially as we think about this being Sexual Assault Awareness Month, that the men in these cases are brought to task and forced to really face the things that they have done and in some cases are still doing, right? They have to answer for the things they have done. It's harm. And the harm has to be restored. That's the basis of restorative justice. So I'm all about accountability. This is not about imprisonment for me. This is not about carceral punishment. This is about those people who were harmed by them seeing justice in the form that best meets their own needs and helps them to heal. And as long as they're healing, listen, I'm good. I hope Cassie's living her best life right now.
It seems like she is. It seems like she got the settlement.
Good for her.
And I think she got the accountability that honestly, I think it was what she was really after.
Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. And good for all of these women holding these men accountable.
Get them.
Get them.
This podcast is supported by generous donations from our patrons and listeners. Become a supporter today by heading to www.patreon.com/othercombosmedia.
You can stream the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. When you listen, please consider hitting that heart button, sharing, giving us a 5-star rating, and leaving some dope comments. This helps us with our page rankings and gets more listeners for the show. Thank you so much.
And we're back.
We are back.
And it's time for the conversation.
And I have a joint.
See, segment 1, no weed. Segment 2, weed.
I won't be high until segment 3. So let's see how it goes.
Ooh, it's progressing.
It's gonna build. And you'll be high too by then.
We're gonna reach the mountaintop.
Because you're gonna get hot boxed.
See, now you saying it.
Shut up.
Now you saying it.
Grow up.
Must be a word.
Grow up.
So let's get into this conversation.
Let's do it.
We got some topics that we need to converse about. And the first one that I want to talk about is this huge fundraiser that Joe Biden had at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. He showed out, which is wild because this man is ancient and old and white. And he said, I'm going to go to New York and act like a real deal celebrity. So he took on Radio City Music Hall. He got Barack Obama to come. He got Bill Clinton to come. He got Stephen Colbert to moderate. He had Queen Latifah in there, Ben Platt,
Girl.
Lizzo, Leah Michele, Cynthia Erivo, Mindy Kaling. They were all in there.
Mm-mm.
And then he had the nerve to have an after party with his wife, the First Lady Jill Biden, and DJ D-Nice.
Yes.
Joe Biden had an after party.
Jill and Joe at the after party with DJ D-Nice.
And now listen, so obviously this was a fundraiser. So the whole point was to raise money. He raised over $26 million in one night. To put that into perspective, that's more money than Trump raised in the entire month of February.
Because Trump is a broke bitch.
Clearly.
He's a welfare queen.
And how did he raise that much money in one night?
Selling Bibles.
No, not Trump.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm still talking about Trump.
Trump selling Bibles and shoes.
And gold shoes.
And shoes.
And gold shoes.
But what Biden did is he sold tickets. The tickets were $225.
Which is actually not that bad.
At a minimum, right? You know, think about it. Y'all was paying much more than that to go see Beyonce on that Renaissance tour. So,
don't say y'all. Don't indict our listeners.
That's a generalized y'all.
What Dan is trying to say is
that
people have been willing to pay for concert tickets that cost much more than this fundraising event.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to indict any listeners of any particular artist. Please do not come for us, Beehive. That was not an attack.
I appreciate that disclaimer.
Thank you.
But yes, 225 was the minimum. Now, if you wanted to be in a photo with Joe and Barack and Bill, $100K.
Now, here's my question on this: what if you only want Barack? Is it $30K?
I think it's if you do in the photo,
is it
$33,333.33? I don't think there's a discount. I think it's a group rate, so it's like any president is going to be $100, but it's like buy one get two free. I think that's how it worked. That's my guess.
They knew that if you put Barack in there, people can pay $100K.
Yeah, that's they wanted him for the $100K.
Is he holding a basketball? Just wondering.
I'm sure if you added some zeros
for $100K, you better turn me into a basketball and dunk me, bitch. $100K.
Listen, that's not even the top tier.
No, it's not.
If you donated $250K, you got to go and have like actual access at a reception. So it was like you got to like rub elbows.
This is people. Awful.
And then if you spent $500K, you got an even more exclusive gathering. Like it's the top secret, super tippity top,
It's a capitalistic, hegemonic, imperialist nesting doll.
And I'm sure they had like, some cheap champagne in there.
I'm sorry. This sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Some pepperoni and Townhouse crackers.
I have to be honest. This is really disgusting given what's going on in the world, that we have we're having a hard time getting aid to Gaza. Palestinians are dying, and they raised $26 million for rubbing elbows in New York City and taking pictures.
Mm-hmm. And that is the conundrum of being an American.
How awful! How disgusting!
But that's what I'm saying. That's the conundrum of being an American,
Jesus.
Right? Because the reason you can raise that much money is because the threat on the other side is literally basically the end of democracy.
But it's also indicative of the way that the Democratic Party is so tone deaf.
Yeah. So
tone deaf that they thought, well, we got to raise some money. Let's have a party.
Mm-hmm.
And it worked. Because you know what? All these rich people in New York was like, oh, I've been waiting to find something to spend my money on. Because they can't think of a way to spend their money on like maybe helping Gazans survive.
No. That's not fun. And it's not flashy.
Yeah, there's no dress up for that.
They don't get to say,
they could have had the same party and said this money will go to Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And not to sending more weapons to Israel.
They could.
I hate it here.
But they didn't.
I really hate it here.
And as I said, the conundrum of being an American. This is the land that we live in.
Well, in better news, Candice Owens was fired from Daily Wire.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. People have been calling her Gabrielle Confederacy because they say she's the evil Gabrielle Union. And I don't like it because she's nowhere near as pretty as Gabrielle Union. And I don't like that it diminishes Gabrielle Union.
I get it, but I think the commentary is meant to say, like,
I know.
If the evil had been infused into Gabrielle Union,
I know.
That's what,
I don't like it.
Her hair would do that. Her face would do that,
I guess. Anyway, so Owens' departure from the outlet comes a few months after a few months of tensions between her and the co-founder of Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro. Just so you all know, this is because Candice Owens has shown some signs that she might have a soul. She actually referred to what's happening in Gaza as a genocide. She's been critical of Israel's military response. She said, "No government anywhere has a right to commit a genocide ever. There is no justification for a genocide. I can't believe this even needs to be said or is even considered the least bit controversial to state." Now, this is a very level-headed thing. Mm-hmm. This is like when Azalea Banks says like right stuff, but then the next few moments she says something racist and awful.
Yeah, it's like terrible shit, truth, accurate,
right? More
terrible shit.
Right.
The hamburger.
So I'm struggling because there is no scenario where Candice Owens will ever be okay with me personally. But in this case, she is right.
In this case, okay, I'll let you finish.
In this case, she is right. However, her current goal has been to somehow placate Black people and come. I think she thinks she's gonna come to the cookout.
Now, we didn't already said the cookout is closed.
The cookout is closed.
You can't invite.
There are
no
invitations.
But we can definitely kick people out.
The only way you can come to the cookout now is if you're born into the cookout. Like you have to be is an intergenerational. You know Mulan at the beginning where she ends up going to war because her dad got conscripted. Yeah, her dad got conscripted into the war, and she had to go because she was the next in line. She had the same last name. That's how you get into the cookout from now on. Like somebody gonna come to your house with a sword, and the sword gonna have a scroll on it, and the scroll goes to the parent who already came to the cookout. And the only way you can come to the cookout is if they come to the cookout, you come with them, or they pass on and they hand the scroll to you, and you have to inherit the scroll, the invitation to the cookout. But it's a special invitation. Everybody not gonna get that. It's not gonna happen that way.
And like I said, you can also get kicked out.
You can get kicked out, and there is an overflow room, but she also can't come to that.
She's in the overflow.
She's not in the overflow. You know who's in the overflow? That one dude from the first season of Love Is Blind who really loves his Black wife. He's in the overflow.
He in the overflow.
He in the overflow room.
He in the overflow. He not in the cookout. He not in the cookout,
but he in the overflow. He can watch on the screen.
You know, someone. No, they can't even bring him a plate.
No. They had their own food over there.
Yeah, they got their own food.
They have their own food over there.
We're not sharing the food.
I mean, it's similar food.
They could smell it.
It's similar food. It's like, you know how different restaurants in different parts of the country, they'll put less seasoning because they know more white people live there.
Right.
So we just give them their own, more palatable diet. In the overflow room. But Candice can't even come to that. So why is she on Breakfast Club? Well, that makes sense why she's on Breakfast Club. Actually, I'm not even going to ask that question. Because Charlemagne, he don't have no fucking sense. Yeah. And why is he's not at the cookout? Charlemagne cannot come to the cookout.
Definitely.
Charlemagne lost his invitation a long time ago. Him and Amanda Seales ain't in the overflow room either.
Nope.
Amanda Seales can't come. We'll talk about her later.
But yeah, I'm glad. I love this topic because there really wasn't anything to discuss. It was just to say her ass got fired.
She got fired, and good for her. You want to be all anti-DEI, bitch? That includes your ass.
Well, and that's the thing. Like people say, I'm rooting for everybody Black. I'm not.
I'm not rooting for everybody Black. Issa Rae said that, and y'all went with it. Stupids.
It was a joke.
Stupid. No, actually, she meant that shit.
No, she meant it, but it was a joke.
It is a joke. It is a joke. It is a joke. It is a joke. Huh. Look at me, y'all. It is a joke.
I'm rooting for Blackness.
I'm rooting for everybody fighting for Black liberation. Yeah. I'm rooting for everybody invested in Black people. I'm rooting for everybody accountable to Black folk.
There we go.
All these unaccountable Black folk. Charlemagne ain't accountable to nobody.
Candice Owens walking around with White Lives Matter.
When Monique has to come in here and say, baby, your mama taught you better than that. Something wrong with him. And y'all niggas still listen to Breakfast. Who listens to Breakfast Club? I don't even know where to find it, and don't tell me. No one tell me. I've never been able to find it.
If you look for it, you'll find it.
I don't want to.
You're not looking for it.
Never. I only ever see Breakfast Club when someone sends me a link, and I'm angry every time. I don't want to ever see Charlemagne speak.
Don't you click on that link?
Why are we listening to Charlemagne speak? Why is anyone listening? Why do we want to hear what he has to say? Why?
We gotta stop putting people in these positions as if their opinion is valued or informed or meaningful.
What? That man don't even look interesting to me. That man don't even look spectacular to me. I be seeing him in pictures. I'm like, who's that? Every time. Who's that? Oh, Charlemagne. Every time. Who that? Oh, that's Charlemagne. He looks like somebody's little brother who came with them to the event.
Mm-hmm.
What an unimpressive person.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
anyway.
This is the land we live in.
Let's move on to something that's actually kind of awful and sad and is indicative of the state of things in the U.S. We have lots of infrastructure issues.
Again, this is the world that we live in.
Yeah.
This is the land that we live in. You've probably heard about the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse in Maryland.
Yeah.
Terrible tragedy.
Yeah.
Right. And you've probably seen the video because everyone's seen the video. Mm-hmm. But there was the barge. It lost power. It collided with the bridge, and the bridge folded. It just was done. Yeah. It just it was not built to withstand something that cataclysmic happening to it.
Most things aren't.
And it's really, 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 really a tragedy that happened. 6 people died. And I feel like as bad as this incident is, it's also so indicative of so much of what's wrong with America. Yeah. Number one, right, infrastructure.
Infrastructure
we got a lot of
is toe up all over the country. Especially in the South.
Yeah. I mean, Joe Biden been trying to do a lot of stuff, but Republicans don't want to do anything. So that's a big issue. Also, when this happened, immediately conservative voices came out and tried to find a reason as to why this happened. On Fox Business, Maria Bartiromo immediately came out and she tried to connect what happened to the bridge to Joe Biden's handling of immigration. Child. She tried to say that this happened because of, a weak border. I mean, Maryland is not near the border. It's on the Mason-Dixon. So I don't think someone ran across the border and then was like, let's
completely unrelated to your vitriolic ideology. Right. Yes.
And then Representative Nancy Mace from South Carolina, who, if you have not looked up, is an amazing individual. I mean, the stuff about her is mind blowing and how fucked up she is as a person. But she's someone who voted against the infrastructure bill in 2021. And she came on Newsmax of all channels.
So reputable.
Yeah, so reputable as a news source.
Yes.
And she wanted to complain about the Biden administration not doing more on infrastructure. I wonder why they haven't done more on infrastructure.
There's this thing called a vote, and then you cast it. And when you vote yes on the thing, it passes. And when it passes, you can use the money that comes from that bill, and you can pay for things like infrastructure. When you vote no, it doesn't.
She must not watch I'm Just a Bill on Capitol Hill.
I'm Just a Bill sitting on Capitol Hill. I love that.
Yeah, she needs to watch that so she can understand how government works.
It's so good. Schoolhouse Rock was listen, I tell my students all the time, I could not wait to be a professor so I could teach them Schoolhouse Rock. Listen, it's one of my favorite things to teach. I'm Just a Bill. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's really teaching the children.
It is.
And clearly would work for some adults, too.
It is. And at her level, it's actually easier to pass a bill. So I don't understand.
Exactly.
Anyway.
And then, because, we can't just stop there. But the mayor came out, Mayor Brandon Scott came out, and he was, as Baltimore mayor, he came out and was saying, hey, we need some thoughts and some prayers for the victims and the families.
Right. Because
a terrible
people
tragedy.
Passed away.
And in response to that, they just started calling him the DEI mayor.
Yes.
That's an interesting moniker to create. Yeah,
and they're somehow blaming him for the bridge, which is
not under his purview, but okay.
He's a young man. What would his affiliation? I hate it here.
I hate it here.
But
taking all of that into account, this becomes really, really fucked up because the 6 people who died were all immigrants from Latin America.
Yeah.
So these niggas found a way They found a way to try and blame immigrants for the tragedy when immigrants were the ones who actually died.
Yeah.
And to make matters worse, we all know the people who are going to rebuild the bridge will probably be immigrants as well.
Yeah. Especially in that region. I mean, that's kind of low-wage workers in that region are predominantly from outside the U.S. or nationalized. And unfortunately, this is what is bothering me the most about this this bridge is that, to me, it didn't have to at all be a political topic.
It didn't.
There was no reason to turn this into a political football, an ideological debate. A bridge fell. It's sad. When bridges fall, it's sad. It reminded me so much of when we were kids and there was a huge earthquake in California and the bridge broke. And we were all just sad. And nobody said like, oh, it's your mayor's fault, or, oh, let's blame the California governor. Like, we just got to be sad. You know, and I feel bad for the people there who are not allowed to mourn what happened and to also miss this bridge. I mean, it's an iconic bridge. People drove over that for decades.
They're having to redirect entire lines of business.
This is disrupting lives. And all that these idiots can say is, oh, it's a DEI mayor. Come on, y'all. Like, it's nothing is sacred anymore. Everything has to be some type of really strange stretch. Like, they're really stretching it here, and this has nothing to do with politics.
Well, and that's the thing that, again, it's really sad because a lot of times people like to say, oh, politics hasn't really changed, it's the same divisiveness that it's always been, it just looks different because it's a new age or whatever. But this is a sure sign that things are different.
Things are different.
As you noted, this has happened before.
You
know, bridges have fallen down before.
Absolutely.
There have been catastrophes.
Absolutely.
Previously, what happens is the federal government comes in and says, we're going to rebuild that bridge.
Right.
Because that's what a federal government does.
That's right.
And it was not a political issue.
Right.
People on either side of the aisle came and voted and supported.
That's correct.
It was no drama.
Because you know why? People need the bridge for commerce. People need the bridge to get to work.
The whole point is everyone needs it.
People need it for emergencies.
Not just Democrats. Right. Not just Republicans.
Right.
Everybody needs it.
How do we have a political debate over a bridge, over infrastructure? I hate it here. This is the I Hate It Here episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find my mom and dad, aka That Black Couple, on the web at thatblackcouple.com. That Black Couple is owned and operated by Color Combos Media. If you would like to help fund our content, sign up at www.patreon.com/colorcombosmedia. Please consider giving us $5 or $10 per month to help us build our platform and grow our organization. You can also give one-time donations at www.paypal.me/colorcombosmedia. All donations are welcome.
Hello, we're back.
We are back.
It's time for the reflection, and I have some things to reflect on.
Go ahead and reflect.
So I made a post last week about Amanda Seales, and people were in their fifis about it.
Well, why were you talking about Amanda Seales?
Well, because there was an article that came out in Essence that was like dragging her, and it had some implications, and I want to talk about what it was that she said that made them write that article about her.
Okay.
So this is what she said. She said, if it wasn't for y'all, I would really think that I ain't doing shit because the industry I'm in does not recognize me. She was telling her followers this. To be clear, I'm speaking about the black spaces in the industry I'm in, which is largely in part why I realize I need to shift out of this industry. I don't get invited to Essence Women in Hollywood. I've never been invited to the NAACP Image Awards. I've been nominated for an Image Award, never been invited, never been honored at Black Girls Rock. I literally hosted the BET Awards in 2020 in my house, and I was not invited to the BET Awards since. So this happened because the NAACP Awards happened recently, just a few weeks ago, and she wasn't invited. And she noticed that Jonathan Majors was walking around on the red carpet, and she was like, how is it that abusers getting invited and I'm not invited? But if people remember, Jonathan Majors was coming because he's making his boyfriend now.
They did not invite Jonathan Majors.
They didn't invite Jonathan Majors. But
don't,
anyway.
Don't be dumb. Don't be thick.
He was a plus one. But regardless of that, here's a couple things that I have to say about this, right? The first is, if we're going to call out abusers, we're going to have to go back before Jonathan Majors, okay? We're going to have to go back before Jonathan Majors. I would love for us to sit and look at that entire room of abusers and see who the fuck in there got invited. Because if we did that, there'd be 50% less people in there. I guarantee it at a minimum. Okay? So Amanda
that
Seales,
has never been the standard.
let's do the real work if we're going to do the work. Okay? Don't pick the low-hanging fruit of Jonathan Majors, who was a plus one. But also, the issue that I have with Amanda Seales is that she loves to get on the internet and talk very, very loudly and scream at people and drag Black folks. She, the reason why I don't really fuck with her is because back, it was like 2015, 2016, she made a whole string of posts on Twitter about how, Black people who buy Jordans and Nike suits are losing. And if they buy them before they have a passport, then they're losing. If they buy them and they don't know their credit score, then they're losing. And a lot of people who, are in movement spaces, organizers, writers, people in entertainment were like, hey, Amanda, like they patted her on her hand gently and were like, hey, this is not it. This is a really bad take. And she was like, I don't give a fuck. I said what I said. And people blocked her and she blocked people. I got blocked at the time and I'm okay with that. I'm totally fine with it. It does not bother me. I get blocked by people all the time. Mm-hmm. And also what people don't realize is that when people block you on one platform, they forget that there's other platforms. So she blocked me on Twitter and then didn't mean that she was blocking me. So then on Instagram, not only did she follow me, she started sharing my stuff. So that's kind of funny. But anyway, I digress. What's also interesting about Amanda is that over the years, as she's alienated people, not just about this Nikes and suits and Jordans thing, but she's said things in support of folks like Shaun King. Shaun King has been very violent. You'll talk about him later, and harmful to Black women. He's a grifter. He's problematic. She's also defended Charlemagne, who we talked about earlier. She comes out and says things that people are like, hey, oh, this is not it, right? Because she's defending people who are harmful to Black people, right? And so when you are saying that your platform is about supporting and advocating for Black people should be able to call you in and hold you accountable. Unfortunately, she does not want to be accountable. Then she makes these comments and says that she's indicting the Black spaces in the industry that have not invited her in. And then she wonders why those same Black spaces get online and drag her ass by her edges. Mm-hmm. And I don't understand why she's surprised that the people who she's dragging to Black people, right? Because she has tons of followers, thousands and thousands, maybe 1 million followers. I don't know. I don't know what she has. But she has so many followers. You don't think it looks bad for you to drag the NAACP Image Awards and the BET Awards and all these Black publications and spaces to your followers? It absolutely does. So they dragged your ass back. And this is the thing, is that people keep saying it's bullying her. And I'm struggling with why it's bullying her when people are responding to what she is saying. Mm-hmm. Bullying is something that happens when folks are diminished, undermined, treated poorly, right? I think we see a lot of examples of bullying. Serena Williams gets bullied.
And it's largely active. You have to be like active.
Right. Serena Williams gets bullied for doing nothing. She walks outside, people talk about her body, her looks, her weight, whether or not she should play anymore, all these things, right? A lot of Black women in media get bullied, right? Mm-hmm. What's happening to Angel Reese right now is bullying, right? People are literally calling her a villain. This girl's in her early 20s? 21, something like that. She's still in college. And years ago, she made a face at a white girl and now she's a villain, right? Like, that's bullying, okay? When she comes out and talks about being hypersexualized by people in the media and people say, well, that's what you get. That's bullying, right? She hasn't done anything to deserve any of that. When you are Amanda Seales and for over a decade, you have made a platform off of dragging Black people to their face, you're not being bullied. You are being treated in the same regard that you treat everybody else. Mm-hmm. And you cannot be perpetually a victim in a problem that you created. This is what I always say. If you make that bed, you got to lie in it, right? Mm-hmm. I talk a lot of shit on the internet. I was talking about Bruno Mars years ago and niggas was like, well, I'm gonna come after you. And I was like, whoa, right? Like, I still said what I said, right? But did I hear what people had to say and go, okay, I understand that you all have some attachment to this man for other reasons that I didn't realize. And those things make sense. There are times where I say, that, I hear that. I made some comments recently about Beyonce and people had things to say. And I was like, you know what? I hear that. Even with Amanda Seales, people were like, yeah, I just feel like we should offer her grace. And I'm like, you know what? That's true. But what also is true that people that we offer grace have to want grace. Mm-hmm. People who we expect to grow have to want to grow. And people who we want to offer this beautiful, loving way in have to desire accountability. Because loving people with no accountability is abuse. If we love someone and love someone and love someone and they never have to answer to anything, they never have to respect our boundaries, they never have to hold the truths of how their words and actions make us feel, that is abuse.
Yep.
And Amanda Seales is abusive to Black people.
Yeah, she is.
And that's it.
And honestly, and I don't think she's confused.
I don't either.
I don't think she's shocked. I don't think she's like, I don't understand why everyone's being so. I think she knows exactly what's happening.
I think so too.
I don't think she's an idiot.
I don't feel bad for her.
I think she's smarter than that.
I don't feel bad for her because all she has to do is say, "Hey y'all, my bad. If I have been this bad to where y'all have to come out like this, then I clearly need to do some restorative justice work." But
also, this whole thing started because she went to the internet and was upset that she wasn't getting invited to stuff.
Right.
This woman has been in the industry for a long time.
Where's your publicist, girl?
She knows how this works.
Absolutely.
Not everyone doesn't get invited to every show.
No, but if you wanted to be invited, you know what you do? You get your publicist on the phone.
That's how it works.
And you get some work in play that can get highlighted. Right. I know this, and I just published my book like 2 months ago, so I know exactly how you get in these conversations.
Yeah, if you're not on a show, if you're not in a movie,
your publicist ain't publicizing.
They don't have nothing to publicize.
Right.
Why would the BET Awards want you there?
Right.
If you're not doing anything.
Right.
Like, to be honest, no shade to her.
No shade.
No shade at all.
No shade.
I mean, that goes for anybody in Hollywood.
Right.
You don't see people upset that they didn't get invited to
awards. Right, but you also have to have a team.
Don't.
You have to have a team. And she just strikes me as somebody who don't have enough friends. Mm-hmm. Like, who is sitting there being like, yeah, Amanda, post that?
Nobody.
Yeah, you yelling at people on the internet and screaming at them. Yeah, post that. Get that up there. Like, come on, man. Like, and I disagree completely with this idea that she has to be palatable and respectable. Like the lean of all this that says that she has to be nice. And I disagree with all of that. I don't think that this is about niceness, but I do believe in accountability. I think that she has to be accountable. You don't have to be nice to be accountable, to respect people's boundaries. And when people say, hey, that hurts us, you can go, oh, wow, I'm not trying to hurt nobody. Let me do this differently. There's nothing wrong with that. And we don't have to take our leaders and our organizers and the folks who want to bring us to social justice with so much acid and vitriol. We don't have to do that. We don't have to be in community with people who make us feel like shit. Mm-mm. And that's what people are saying. Hey, I don't want to be in community with you because you make me feel like shit.
Yeah, and people have a choice. Like, you don't get to say, I'm Amanda Seales. I hosted the BET Awards at one time, and I was an AKA on Insecure, which means you have to always invite me to everything.
That's true.
This is not something that you just have a key to the city and you can walk in and come in and go and please as you go.
But also, if you're not invited and you're concerned about it, build your community around you and get in connection with people so that you can get invited next year. I think that's the other thing that's kind of weird to me about it. I would absolutely go about it a different way.
Yeah.
And it's not about respectability. It's also about just kind of respecting these organizations, right? And that's not respectability. Respect and respectability are different. So what I'm saying is that if I really place value in these organizations and what they're doing, because personally I don't care about these award shows.
Right.
So I wouldn't have gone online like, I don't get invited to the award show. That's weird to me. But if that's important to her, girl, build up your community, build up your repertoire, build up your game, build up your hustle, and get you a seat, boo boo. I have friends who walked into that motherfucker for free. Mm-hmm. Who just happened to be hanging out in LA and walked into the NAACP Awards. If they can get in, boo, you can get in.
You can get in.
So what?
But you wasn't trying to. You just mad because they
didn't roll
out to you directly.
They didn't roll you out that purple Cadillac.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the hubris for me.
Yep, that's all it is.
Yep.
Well, speaking of hubris.
Speaking of light-skinned hubris.
Did y'all know that Sean King is a Muslim now? Did y'all know that? Did you see that announcement? Did you see that Sean King is a Muslim? Because he is. So he and his wife both converted to Islam.
And she's my damn soror now. Good night.
And so they did a whole announcement, because we all care, that they converted to Islam, and because they said that they were doing it to be in solidarity with Palestinians.
Good night.
Now, excuse me. Hold on just a minute, sir.
Good night.
to be in solidarity with someone, you don't have to change your religious faith.
No, you don't.
And this is remember, Shaun King was a minister.
The grift knows no ends.
It never ends.
The grift knows no ends. And you know what's also real sus about this is that it happened after he got banned from Instagram. It's like he needed another spectacle. Like he couldn't center himself in Palestinian liberation anymore.
But now he can.
But now he can again. Now he's found another way to show up.
And the grift continues because you know what he did the day after he converted?
Jesus.
He announced a $1,000 ticket cost speaking tour.
Wasn't it a dinner during Ramadan?
I believe that's what it was. I believe it was going to take place during Ramadan, and so you had to pay $1,000. I don't know why to go be with Shaun King. Okay, and he also got invited by the Minnesota branch of the Council on American Islamic Relations to speak at a fundraising dinner. It was oh my God.
And that shit got snatched the fuck
They announced it and they're like, ooh, yeah, Shaun King, we got him. He's going to be there.
And the black woman was like,
yeah,
black women have entered the chat.
They announced it 5 hours later. They said, actually,
never mind.
We was playing.
No.
He's disinvited.
Did we say
it was
Shaun
a joke.
King? We meant Conching.
Y'all, they didn't say 5 weeks later. They didn't say 5 days later. They said 5 hours the same day.
We didn't.
It was so swift.
No, not that Shaun King.
They said, oh, no.
Shaun L. King.
This is mea culpa.
Muhammad Shaun L. King. Not that guy. Different guy.
I just, like you said, this is the I Hate It Here episode.
Child.
And I hate it here
because...
I
hate it here.
Why does Shaun King exist?
Damn.
I'm not saying I want him dead. I'm just saying
you want the nigga to poof disappear?
I mean, I'm just saying why is this happening?
Yeah.
Why is this entity?
I'm like, it's confusing to me because people have really gravitated to him as if they can't Google him and know all the things he did to black folk. It's like, and there's got to be enough black Muslims to be like, what? You know, like, hey, no, you know? But I keep meeting black people, including like black women who are like, Shaun King is a liberator. And I'm like, whoa, this is so wild. Confused. I mean, he has really successfully, kind of like Amanda Seales, obfuscated the ways he has moved in community with people. And a lot of people now are realizing, oh, it's a grift because apparently, again, I also don't follow Shaun King, but a lot of his content has been about, oh, you want to come after me? Go find the cases and find the evidence and you know, go get the police and press charges. And he's been just making videos like that. Like, go get the evidence and press charges against me. And for all the things you all said that I've done, you know, I should be in jail. Like, he's literally just saying this. He's literally making videos like this. So a lot of people who follow him are like, what is this about? Right?
They're like, let me find out.
Wait, what is he talking about?
Let's investigate.
And it's really astounding to me because there are so many organizers out here who are really doing the work, and a lot of them he's done violence against. Like Clarissa Brooks is someone he absolutely tried to dox and to expose and do violence against. She's been working with Erica Purnell and now Fort and all these folks who are really actually working on behalf of Palestinians and really thinking about what it means to actually see a free Gaza. And they don't get any of the kind of followership and the acknowledgement for the labor that they're doing. Like, if you follow Erica Purnell's Instagram, she is in the streets. She is doing the work, and she's doing it quietly, but she's doing the work.
Well, that's the problem with America, right? Is you have the people that are doing the work, and because they're actually about the work, they're not about let me be on social media posting 20 million videos a day and posturing to make myself look away because I actually am that way.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like it's a light skin epidemic, y'all. Because you know Blair Money right there. No shade. This is the first time I'm actually saying it on the podcast, but like, what does Blair Money actually do in community? Like, where's the work, right? You know, like people will write books and make all these cute videos on social media, but I want people to really be thinking about that when they're following these people and believing in these people, right? Because there's so much more to the work than social media. And I tell my students all the time that there's theory and there's practice, and together that's praxis, right? So theory is what you see on social media, all the ideas. Oh, we have to work on behalf of Palestinians, and this is how we see a free Gaza, and this, right? Okay, cool, that's great. But what are you actually doing? What are you actually doing? Because if all you're doing is talking on social media about theory and then adding bonuses and ads to all of your videos and making money and now making liberation lipstick, then this isn't really about liberation for you. This is about capitalism and about grift. You're making money about people's desire to see a better, freer world. And that's not cool to me.
It's not.
It's not.
And I blame, I really do blame the internet age for that, because people, this relationship is so strange to me. The internet, access to the internet allowed us access to so much more information at lightning speeds. But the result of that has also been people actually not seeking information because they're used to information being pushed to them so often. Right. So that's how you get people like Sean King, because they're pushing the information.
And Amanda Seales.
Right. And Amanda Seales.
She just makes a viral video and people are like, I like her. And I'm like, wow.
And that's not to say that what these people say is bad, that they don't ever have
good
things to say.
Because they got it from other people.
Exactly.
Like Amanda Seales be like, oh, I studied. Who did you study, boo-boo? Because I guarantee you that person that you studied is on social media and is teaching in a classroom and is doing organizing work. Why wouldn't you just send people to go follow them? That's what's weird to me. Like I'm an educator and I have my own research. And if people are interested in that research, I'm like, hey, kick it over here. But if they're interested in other stuff, I'm like, hey, go over there. Like this person's doing some really cool stuff on policing. This person's doing some really cool stuff on abortion. This person's doing some really cool stuff on trans justice. And even though I can talk about those things, I know that there are some experts. So why would I posture and position myself as if I should be the voice? That's strange.
We don't gotta be the expert.
We don't. And everybody's not an academic. Stop calling yourself an academic if you ain't with the school. I hate it here.
But if you are really invested in people knowing and understanding and growing and being better, you would divert them to go to the experts because you would want them to get it from the source.
And this is not elitism.
You would also want that source to get the credit.
This is not elitism. This is why you don't go to the doctor for a tire that's broken on your car. You go to a mechanic. Right. And it bothers me that there are PhDs and folks who do all this research and they sitting right there, looking right in your faces, sitting right there doing the work. There's historians doing incredible work right now. There are archivists. There are librarians doing incredible work. Librarians are doing the work right now. And people are like, you know who I want to listen to? That girl. What was she on? Insecure. What are we doing?
She had a video and she was yelling and it was zooming in and out, and that effect really affected my brain in a way.
I was laughing so hard. I couldn't even take it seriously. And that bothers me. I have to admit that bothers me. It bothers me. It bothers me. I'm not going to sit somewhere and be like, let's talk about gastroenterology. Bitch, I don't have the range.
Right.
And I can study as much as I want to. I can read as many books as I want to about the GI system. And you know what? I'm still not an expert because that's not my area. And I'm not that kind of doctor. Why isn't that okay nowadays? Why isn't it okay to not have the range?
Like I said, that's the internet age.
Hate it here. As always, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, or you just want to tell us how great we are, email us at thatblkcouple@gmail.com. Bye.